If the person giving birth asks you to leave the room, not the hospital, just the room, are you actually obligated to respect that? Because my mother-in-law says no. And honestly, the way she said it made me wonder if I was the one who crossed a line. Okay, so I'm Maya. My husband is Dominic. We've been together 7 years, married for two, and for most of that time I've had a pretty functional relationship with his parents, Renata and Gerald. Not warm exactly. Renata is the kind of woman who rearranges your dish rack when she visits and calls it helping. Gerald mostly just agrees with whatever Renata decides, but they're not monsters, they adore Dominic. They were genuinely excited about the baby. That part was real. When I got pregnant, the birth plan conversation came up pretty early. Dominic and I talked about it a lot: who would be in the room, what the vibe would be, what I needed to feel safe. I have anxiety. Births can be unpredictable, and I wanted the environment controlled as much as possible. We agreed, just the two of us in the delivery room and family in the waiting area. That was the plan we communicated to everyone. My mom, my sister, Renata, Gerald, all of them. Waiting room. We'll come get you after. Renata said she understood. She said, and I remember this clearly, she said, of course, whatever Maya needs. She said it with a smile. I thought we were good. Fast forward to the day. I'm 39 weeks, I go into labor early in the morning, we get to the hospital and things move fast. I'm in the room, I'm hooked up, contractions are coming hard, and it's already a lot. Dominic is right there. It's exactly what we planned. About 2 hours in, the door opens. Not a nurse, Renata, and Gerald right behind her. I looked at Dominic. He looked at me. And I could tell from his face that he had not invited them in, but he also wasn't immediately saying anything. He was frozen in that particular way he gets when his mom is in the room. Renata came in like she'd been expected. She had a bag. She started pulling out a blanket she'd knitted. She said, "We just couldn't wait out there, we had to be close." Like that explained it, like that was a reason. I said, "Renata, we talked about this. We agreed on the waiting room." She said, "I know, but this is our grandchild. We just want to be here." And I said, pretty clearly, I thought, "I need you to go back out. I'm not comfortable." She didn't move. She looked at Dominic. He said her name softly, like a question. That's when I pressed the call button and asked for a nurse, and I told the nurse I needed the room cleared of non-essential people. The nurse, bless her, asked Renata and Gerald to step out. Renata went, but before she did, she said, "I hope you'll think about what you just did." To me, while I was in labor, she said that. Dominic didn't say anything in the moment, and I didn't have bandwidth to deal with it because, I was having a baby. Here's where I might have crossed a line, and yeah, I know how this sounds. After our daughter was born, we had that golden window of time, just the three of us. And I made the decision, my decision, I own it, that I didn't want Renata and Gerald to come in that day at all. Not that hour, not that afternoon. I asked the nurse to tell them visiting was closed for the day and that we'd be in touch. Dominic found out about 10 minutes later when Gerald texted him. He came to me and he was, not yelling, but his voice had that tight, careful quality that means he's holding something back. He said, You didn't even ask me. They drove 40 minutes, they've been waiting 5 hours. And I said, I know, and I'm sorry, but I need this day to be quiet and I need to feel safe, and after what your mom said on her way out, I'm not there yet." He said she was hurt and acting out and didn't mean it. I said maybe, but she still said it. He let it go that night, but his parents did not. Renata called it being erased from the birth of her grandchild. She told Dominic's sister that I was punishing her for caring too much. His sister texted me, not Dominic me, and said, "Was that really necessary?" And even my own mother, when I told her the story, got quiet for a second and said, "Oh Maya," the whole day. That "oh Maya" is the part that's been sitting with me. Because here's the thing I keep turning over. The plan was waiting room, then come in after. The plan was never banned for the full day. That part was mine, made in the heat of the moment when I was exhausted and raw and honestly a little furious. And I never checked with Dominic, their son, the other parent in the room. Did Renata overstep? Obviously. The "I hope you'll think about what you just did" comment? Unhinged, I stand by that. But did I escalate a boundary into a punishment? Did I take something from Dominic too, not just his parents? That's the part I can't cleanly answer. A few weeks later, we did a family dinner. Renata and I haven't directly addressed it. We're doing that thing where we're both polite in a way that feels like a temporary truce rather than an actual peace. Dominic says we need to talk it out properly, and he's right, and we keep not doing it. She walked into my delivery room without being invited. I had her removed. Then I extended that removal for the whole day without consulting my husband. She said something cruel on her way out the door. And nobody in my extended family seems to think she crossed a line. They're all focused on what I did next. So honestly, though, was I wrong? Did I have every right to protect that space? Or did I take it too far? And am I the only one who thinks, I hope you'll think about what you just did, said to someone mid labor is something we should be talking about more? Honestly, though, what would you have done? Comment below.